Hey, I'm JD Frost. Thank you so much for tuning into the Daily Ledger podcast. I've got a very special guest with me, Matt Plummer, all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada today. And Matt Plummer has an incredible coaching program working with, I guess, in particular, EXP realtors, but you work with other realtors too, don't you?
Yeah, real estate agents,
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, business owners. It's
Gotcha.
awesome to be here, JD. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being on here, and I would love for you to just start out telling us your 3 to 4 minute origin story. How did you get to where you are right now? Why do you do what you do? And what got you there?
Yeah, man. A decade ago, so many people ask, like, how did you get to where you are, right? Whether it's weight loss or, money or whatever it is. And I think it's important to just understand how you got to the place where you needed to start from, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I grew up as an alcoholic, as an addictive sports gambler. I made plenty of money through my career. And so the more money you make, you just become a bigger version of the person that you are.
Mm.
And a decade ago, man, I was 300 pounds, alcoholic, addictive sports gambler, and started unpacking that one habit at a time. I started with weight loss and got through, and that helped me make a decision to become sober, which helped me make it become a little easier to not bet on games that I didn't care of who was playing, which, 90 or a year later, I had to go through all of that to quit smoking cigarettes. Like you would think that it would be like, hey, I'm going to inhale nicotine into my lungs 40 times a day. That's not enough to quit. You have to go through all of that pain and suffering to then quit, right? But through that, man, I started feeling this stress about money. And it took me to go through all of that stuff to realize that my wife and I were $500,000 in debt. We owed the bank, we owed credit cards, we owed student loans, taxes, timeshares, cars, you name it, we owed it. And we went on a journey. We got introduced to Dave Ramsey through our church and Financial Peace University, or through a friend, which led us into church. And we started unpacking our debt. We started unpacking and getting that relationship around money. And there are so many threads that got pulled through that. It got us into church. It helped me find and accept Jesus. And over the next 40 months, we were able to pay off and eliminate all of our debt.
That's awesome.
And so through that process, I became a real estate agent, because at some point, right, the foundation of the 4 foundations of wealth, the first one is you got to increase your income.
Yep.
I needed a bigger widget to sell. And, I was selling $5,000 moves. I was selling $50 bags of shakes through my journey. And I needed a bigger widget, and real estate gave me that opportunity. And I'll close with this. I was in real estate for 90 days, man. And I started talking to real estate agents about money, and I was getting a commission. I was like, hey, this is what I'm going to do with my commission. And they're like, what are you talking about? And I asked them what they did with their commission. And it took me 90 days in 2017 to realize that real estate agents sell real estate next month to pay last year's taxes.
Yep.
And it took me all of 3 months to realize inside the world of real estate that my impact was going to be with the agent, not with the buyer or the seller.
Right. Yep.
And yeah, so that has led to where we are today, where I've had thousands of conversations with real estate agents about their money. And, I coach them and how to help them build wealth.
What I think makes an amazing coach is experience. And it sounds like that you've got an incredible amount of experience, not only in your profession, but also just in life in general. So you understand what it takes to overcome challenges. You understand what it takes to overcome something that seems impossible. And I think great coaches have that empathy for their players and or clients, as we refer to them all the time. So that's awesome, man. What did you do exactly right before you were a real estate agent? What were you doing?
What wasn't I doing? Like I was an accountant's, man, I was an accountant's nightmare.
Oh gosh.
I think between 2013 to 2017, I mean, I think my biggest year, I think I had 9 or 1099s.
Wow. Okay. You
It
were
didn't
not.
matter. I mean, if like if there was a referral affiliate program, or I could refer money or refer clients or whatever it was, I just did it, right? If I could sell it and make money, because I just needed to make money. It didn't
Yeah.
matter. There was no career.
Right. And tell me a little bit more about Dave Ramsey. I know that's been a big part of your life. I know that you've got a conference coming up. Are you calling it a conference or a boot camp?
It's a retreat, right? I mean,
A
it's
retreat.
a
Yeah.
true get out of debt, become debt free, start the path of wealth building journey, or clean up where you are. I think, Dave Ramsey has had a tremendous impact and influence in my life. Primarily, and I don't share this a lot, I think the number one reason I was so attracted to Dave, and I actually told Dave this, but I don't share it often. I think the number one reason I was attracted to Dave was it was a voice when I needed to hear it. And then also during the journey, my dad passed away in 2014, which was about 90 days after we started our debt-free journey. And Dave was, through the radio, the father figure that I lost. As I had lost weight, I'd become sober. I quit gambling. My dad passes away of a heart attack because of all of the things that I was, right? He was an alcoholic. He was overweight, etc. And then comes this, guy that I've never met, but he has common sense to it. It makes sense. And he was a father figure.
That's awesome.
And so, and it got us into church, right? So all of the dominoes lined up at the right time, right? The Total Money Makeover sat on my coffee table for 18 months. Never opened it.
And you were, and I mean, a lot of your story too, what kind of comes to mind for me is like just removal of excess from your life.
Yeah.
Like just removal of all excess, getting down to the brass tacks of things, whether it's your health, any addiction that you might have, any debt that you have, finances, getting very focused on those things that really do matter the most to you, and figuring out a way to peel yourself out of it. Like if I was to sum up who Matt Plummer is, that's who Matt Plummer is, and that's what you're going to get from working with him.
Well, I appreciate that. And if you go back to, Dave's baby steps and creating wealth, right? And right, it's hard to pull. Like he has a saying, right? Your car drives better when it's not dragging a payment book. Right? You wrote it about it in your book. I talk about it a lot, or about liabilities. Right? When your income is your greatest wealth building tool, and if it's aimed at obligations, liabilities, it cannot be aimed towards opportunities, assets.
Yeah.
And so when you look at building wealth, right? Build courage, create wealth. If you look at, hey, how do I become financially free? And you look at the personalities that really help you do that, right? JD Frost, Matt Plummer, Grant Cardone, the other big personalities that are out there that want to use debt or leverage. You have to go through the very front part or the middle part of the baby steps in the Ramsey program. You have to then go make money, so that you have the extra that was going towards obligations. Now you have $25,000 a month, $200,000 a year, $2,000 a month that you can just now start aiming at opportunities because you've eliminated all of the excess.
Right. Yeah. And
you
I
have
think
to have both.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I wholeheartedly believe that as well. I mean, I think that when you're in growth mode in your business, I mean, debt, for real estate, appreciating assets, growing a business is a tremendous tool to be able to utilize that. But at some point in time, there is a place where you got to turn off that faucet and turn on the faucet of reducing it. And so it's like this ebb and flow that's happening. For me, I've been on this, I've been on this flow of increasing the debt as much as possible because of growing our business, growing real estate portfolios, things of that nature. And now it's getting ready in 2023 for me is getting ready to go the opposite direction, which I'm obviously very excited about. But you got to have a lot of courage to be able to turn one of those faucets on or off all the time, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's
Whatever time you
counterbalance.
decide to do that. Yeah.
It's counterbalance, right? I mean, there is no such thing. Gary writes about it in the book, The One Thing. Balanced life is a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you're balanced, you're going nowhere.
Right. Yep.
Right. So if you're gonna go long, and I would encourage people, I think you probably agree to this, you have to go long in making money first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you go long there, you have to go short and probably spending money. Right. So, but now after you built that muscle, created the habit of increasing your income, now we can go back and go long on taking those resources to go truly either get more assets or more money. And, in your case, you're taking on some obligation, but again, you're about ready to go right back and go long again on the income, right? So it's just that counterbalance.
How long is long when you're saying that? When you're saying go long on making money, how long of a period of time would that be for somebody listening?
I think, well, if you look at, I think you have to go long enough to build and maintain the habit, right? A disciplined life is a lie, right? We just have to be disciplined long enough for habit to take over.
Okay.
Too many people, I think they think that JD Frost is disciplined. Well, no, JD Frost has built the right habits because he was disciplined for a long enough period of time for habit to take over. Right?
Okay.
The daily ledger, right? The daily 5.
Level.
What's that?
Habit is next level.
Habit is the next level, right? You're not disciplined every morning. None of us are disciplined every morning to go do all the things that we do. But we've done the habit. We've been disciplined long enough in an area for habit to take over, and now it's just easy. Right? You and I not drinking is no longer being disciplined. Like I live in Las Vegas, right? I used to walk into sports books and go online and bet thousands of dollars, right?
Yeah, crazy.
I can now, you and I, when you come out to Las Vegas here in a few weeks, we're going to walk through the MGM Grand and we're going to pass the sports book and we're going to pass all the alcohol and we're going to pass all the people that want us to come over and play blackjack. You might stop over and play blackjack. I'm not going to stop and play blackjack.
I might have to stop and play Mississippi Stud or something. I don't know.
But whatever, like it's not discipline. It's just habit that I just no longer stop at the table.
Right.
Right. And so when you do that with your money or you do that in work, I was disciplined long enough. And sometimes it takes 66 days. The average is 66 days. Sometimes it takes 3 weeks. Sometimes it takes 2 years to just keep going over and over and over this for habit to where it just kicks in.
How do you know when it becomes a habit?
When you don't have to think about it and you stop counting.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, do you know
the way I can relate that in my sobriety is, I used to look at the number a lot, I look at the number and I never look at the number anymore.
We know the date.
I know the date. Yes.
We know the date, right?
Because that's like, it's like knowing my birthday. That's my sober birthday,
It's just, we know the date, we stop counting, right? Because in those first days, it's like, can you get to 7? Can you get to 8? Can you get to 10? When I lost weight, man, I just wanted to see that number keep going down on the scale.
Yeah. As
we're building wealth, right? It's just the tracking of the net worth or tracking our monthly cash flow or our passive cash flow, right? Did it go up this month? Can I keep making it go up? It's the same thing when you stop counting the days of sobriety, you've built a habit around it.
Gotcha. So you build a habit when you stop counting or tracking and you're still doing the activity. Now it's a habit. There's no longer discipline. That's where you've crossed that threshold. I love that, man. Wow. Thank you. You just helped me a bunch. You don't even know it. Thank you.
Day one.
Well, I know. Yeah.
Day one, you don't have to count.
Day one, you don't have to count. Exactly. One more thing I want to talk about. I know you got to go here pretty shortly, and I appreciate you being on the Daily Ledger podcast. But one other thing that I think you've had a lot of discipline with, that's probably a habit for you now, is profit first. Can you tell me a little bit about that journey and how you help people with that?
Yeah. So, I mean, ultimately, what you and I were taught in school, and truly probably you way more than me in accounting, right, is when a business owner looks at, are they profitable? There's one document they look at, right? The profit and loss statement. And then where's the first place you look at a profit and loss statement?
Down to bottom.
Bottom right.
Yep.
And then that number's down there and it's like, hey, how did we get to this number? And that's the number you pay taxes on. But where is that money? Like the money's gone, right?
Yep. Typically
So,
it is.
Yeah. So when you look at it, it's like, hey, I got there by sales minus expenses equals profit. And as a business owner, is that like, wait a minute, I have to wait until I pay all expenses to take profit? And so what Mike has done, and he's done through a community of people like myself as a profit first professional, is we take entrepreneurs and we look at it through a different lens of sales minus profit equal expenses. And we do it through bank balance accounting. We look at it through, hey, did we get paid? Did the money get allocated to profit and the owner get compensated? And did we save money for the taxes? And forcing our business to work on what's left. Right. And I think we can probably go into a whole podcast around how that all works.
Oh yeah, definitely.
However, I think if you're hearing it for the first time, you're like, hey, what's profit first? You're taking profit and owner contributions first. You're saving a smaller percentage of gross revenue for taxes because you're putting a downward pressure on taxes. And you're forcing your business to work on what's left, not the full amount what you were paid.
Right. Squeezing as much toothpaste out of that toothpaste tube.
Kind of like getting a podcast done in 14 and a half minutes.
That's right.
We don't need an hour.
That's right. I can't stay an hour-long podcast. But Matt Plummer, thank you so much for being on here. I really appreciate your participation. We're going to definitely have you back in order to talk about profit first and a little bit more Dave Ramsey and what you do. But where do people need to go to sign up for this retreat that you have coming up?
So anywhere on social, Instagram, it's definitely in my bio on both places. But if you go to financialfitcoaching.com/retreat, that's where all of the information is. It's here in Las Vegas. It's at the end of January. You can pay for it now in December and get that tax credit. On your business. And I can see you in Las Vegas here and at the filming of this in 35 days.
Let's go. Let's go. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Matt. Appreciate you being on here, man. And thank you for all your support of us. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Love you guys. Thanks so much.